So, from right to left.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
The Cowboys. Oh! Hunt is knocked on. Oh, Ben Hunt is sunken with disappointment.
Now Cleary. Oh, Ben Hunt! It's been pitched by Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt wins the Origin for Queensland.
In 2015, Ben Hunt made one of the greatest errors in rugby league history, and now, 7 years later in 2022, he completed one of the greatest comebacks in Australian sport by securing the 2022 State of Origin series for the Queensland Maroons in last night's decider, scoring the match-winning try, which will go down as one of the biggest upset wins in Origin history. And that try, that runaway charge down try from Ben Hunt, will be in the highlights reels for the next century. But guys, before we get any more into the video, over 90% of you watching are not subscribed, so please subscribe if you haven't already. It is completely free and you can always change your mind later. Comment down below in that comment section. Of course, smash that like button if you enjoy the video and you want to see more. In 2015, Ben Hunt proved himself as one of the best players in the competition as he and fellow halves partner Anthony Milford turned the Broncos from a team that lost in the first week of the finals in 2014 into the favourite heading into the 2015 grand final after they defeated the Cowboys in week 1 of that 2015 final series. In that year, Hunt would miss out on the Dally M and Dally M halfback of the year to Jonathan Thurston, who had arguably the greatest season of his career, as Hunt finished 4th in the overall voting and 2nd in the halfback voting. Hunt, along with Milford, were incredible for the Broncos in their run to the 2015 grand final, and it's obvious that without Ben Hunt, you could guarantee that the Broncos would not be able to challenge for that 2015 premiership. But unfortunately for Benny, that incredible season would be overshadowed by a career-defining moment.
Gets the ball away! And Felt has scored! It looks to me as it's taken the steel work! The Cowboys. Hunt is knocked on. He hits it, he's got it! He's got the field goal! He's got the premiership!
Following that moment, life was never the same at the Broncos for Ben Hunt. You could only imagine the criticism from the media and more so the fans that followed Hunt was receiving. And while things didn't go horribly for him on the field, you could see his confidence drop. It was still a strong season though for Hunt, but still failed to replicate his 2015 form the following season, as the Broncos did finish outside the top 4 and got knocked out in week 2 of the finals. However, things in 2017 is where it really turned worse for Hunt. While this was the year that Hunt would make his State of Origin debut, being selected on the bench over the very much despised DCE and debuting for the Australian Kangaroos, Hunt fell out of favour with his beloved Brisbane Broncos. Hunt suffered a hamstring injury which would see him miss 6 weeks before being brought back into the side. However, after returning, he was only to be dropped 2 weeks later in favour of young Cody Nikorima. This would see Ben Hunt spend the rest of the season coming off the bench and playing in the dummy half, while Nikorima and Milford seemed to be the Broncos' long-term halves. This was because the Broncos made it apparent they would not need his services beyond 2017. Hunt made the decision to sign a huge multi-million-dollar deal with the St George Illawarra Dragons, making him the game's second highest paid player in the competition. This was mainly due to the Broncos deciding to go with Nikorima long-term, which also freed up the cap room for the Broncos to sign long-term Anthony Milford, as they labelled him their main man after letting go of Ben Hunt. At the beginning of 2018, Ben Hunt would join the St George Illawarra Dragons. It was his first year on a 6-year contract worth up to $7.2 million. However, 2018 didn't start great for Hunt, especially off the field. Reports came out about Ben Hunt and Cameron Munster being involved in a punch-up in a night out at Darwin during the Kangaroos' 2017 World Cup campaign. But on the field to start the season, Ben Hunt found his true self once again, as in round 1 he led the Dragons to a dominant victory, putting in his best performance since the 2015 season as the Dragons defeated the Broncos 34-12. But unfortunately for Ben Hunt, while he did enjoy the best part of that 2018 season, things turned from bad to worse after he was named at halfback for the Queensland Maroons 2018 State of Origin Series. Queensland lost both Game 1 and Game 2, which saw the Blues wrap up the series in just 2 games, and Ben Hunt was no doubt the scapegoat for the Queensland side, as he was rinsed by the Maroons fans and by the media, which forced coach Kevy Walters to recall DCE into the Origin arena, and the rest is history. DCE has now got a Maroons captain record of 2 Series 1 and 2 Series loss, and despite some shaky performances, Ben Hunt seems to have lost any chance of getting back into that halfback position, especially with young guns Dearden and Sammy Walker on the rise. Hunt would return to the Dragons after that Origin series and did play a vital role in their success, as they would end up finishing the season in 7th, and once again put a masterclass on his former side, as in week 1 of the finals, Dragons would cause a huge upset victory, defeating the Broncos 48-18 at Suncorp. But Hunt was in the headlines once again after he was heavily criticised after the Week 2 finals match where South won 13-12. There was a lot of blowback by the media and fans, which was in relation to in the final minute of the game with the scores locked at 12-all. Instead of kicking the ball downfield, Ben Hunt elected to run the ball on the final tackle, which handed possession over to South in good field position, which would end up being the set where Reynolds kicked the match-winning field goal. After the match, Hunt had to come out and front the media, saying it was a pretty big error by me, to be honest, but Parramatta Eels legend Peter Sterling labelled it the dumbest play of the year, which caused huge criticism, to now regarded as the overrated and one of the game's most overrated players, as Hunt's career to continue to struggle after that 2015 blow. Things didn't get better for Hunt over the following 2 years either. Hunt suffered as a result of the Dragons' form, and after proving to be a great dummy half, many questioned whether Hunt was a hooker or halfback, which saw him switch between the positions frequently. The Dragons finished second last in 2019 and 12th in 2020, which would end up being the year head coach Paul McGregor was sacked by the club, with Anthony Griffin taking over from 2021. Going into that 2021 season, many didn't expect much from Hunt or the Dragons, especially after they copped a battering in that Charity Shield against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. He was then criticised heavily by the media and by the fans once again after being named captain in the lead up to the season. However, things would take a turn for Hunt after years of being called overpaid and overrated. After being part of that struggling side, Hunt would play his best consistent footy since that 2015 season, leading the Dragons to a top 8 spot and being named the Maroons' best player of the 2021 series and earning man of the match in Game 3. Things were on the upward trajectory for Hunt, but he was then in the headlines again after one of the most infamous moments in recent rugby league history.
Von, we believe this is the biggest sanction the NRL's ever taken against players. $305,000 in total in fines against the players. $50,000 to Paul Vaughan, which is the most he can be fined. To get to your point about how embarrassing and humiliating this is for the club, Paul Vaughan was fined $50,000, 8 weeks for withholding information. There's been an attempted cover-up here by the players. They've been outed on it. But the players got to the point where, when the police arrived, Jack DeBellin was hiding under a bed.
Most of the Dragons starting side broke COVID isolation rules to attend a barbecue at Paul Vaughan's house, which would see him get sacked and everyone else fined and suspended. After such a strong season from Hunt, he was once again in the headlines as media questioned his leadership as captain for allowing this incident to occur. And it would get even worse as the Dragons didn't win another game for the remainder of the season and would end up missing the top 8 despite being part of that top 6 sides that looked dominant in that 2021 season. But now we arrive in 2022, and after being written off once again into the preseason, the Dragons have picked up for where they did pre-Barbecue Gate. They now sit in a real fight for that top 8 off the back of Ben Hunt, who is in career best form as he more than likely leads the Dally M leaderboard due to his multiple man of the match performances as the Dragons currently sit just 2 points outside of the top 8. But this 2021 State of Origin series has been where Hunt has shined. Improving on last year's series, Hunt has kept Harry Grant regarded as one of the competition's best hookers on the bench. Hunt was a standout in the Maroons Game 1 performance, and last night in State of Origin Game 3 went to a completely new level. He scored the match-winning try playing 74 minutes in the middle and was one of the key catalysts in the Maroons' biggest upset victory, along with their 2020 State of Origin decider win in one of the greatest ever Origin games, and he was regarded as very unlucky to miss out on the Wally Lewis medal.
Now Cleary. Oh, Ben Hunt! It's been pinched by Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt wins the Origin for Queensland. What a moment in Origin history! Queensland 22 have beaten New South Wales 12.
7 years after one of the biggest errors in history, Hunt had redeemed himself with one of the biggest tries in Origin history. Now, instead of Hunt being the player to drop the ball in the Golden Point Grand Final, he will now be remembered as one of the best players in the NRL who won Queensland the 2022 State of Origin series after they had the week from hell, losing their best player Cameron Munster and having to do it out of position. It's been a truly phenomenal ride for Hunt, and while I hated to see it last night as a New South Wales supporter, as a fan of Ben Hunt, respect. Now, all there is for him to do is win that premiership after all these years.
But I think when the disappointment subsides, you'll realise that you were just part of one of the best grand finals we've ever seen.
How many times I've replayed it over my head? To be honest, I've probably lost count. When you're watching footy or you think about different things, or you might be watching a game and you see someone else drop a ball like that and it just pops back into your head again. How I felt after that was pretty devastating. As the months went on after that, I copped a fair bit of slack about it, and probably rightfully so. It was a pretty big moment in the game, and obviously how the Cowboys got the ball to win the game. You got to keep pushing through it, and there's going to be some brightness out the other side. I worked out myself that, it was just one small thing that had happened in my career. It's not going to define my career, and, I've got plenty of footy ahead of me, so it's time to focus on that and not worry about what happened in the past.
Guys, thank you so much for watching as always. That was a different video, but you know what? We got to try things new. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. It's completely free, and you can always change your mind later. Don't forget to drop a comment in that comment section and smash that like button if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of them. I'll see you guys in the next one.